Hey everyone, it's Norm from Tested, and I am in a designer toy state of mind right now. I just got back from Designer Con, had an amazing time there, met some new artists, caught up with some of my favorite artists, and yes, bought a few things. Now, every time I come back, every time I go to Designer Con, I try to look for trends, whether they're aesthetic styles or licenses that become a new trend for the year. But over the past couple years, one trend I've been noticing is the increasing number of independent artists able to turn their designs into physical collectibles without having to work with a big company. There is now the path forward for independent concept artists and illustrators and incredibly talented people to turn their pieces of work into something that not only they can have, but also their new fans that they have been building on Instagram can have. That's a place where I discover so many of my new favorite artists is on places like Instagram. Now, there's an artist I want to introduce to you today. Some of you may know him very well. He's very prolific on social media, on Twitter, on ArtStation, and that's Pascal Blanché. He's a French illustrator and concept artist who worked in the video game business as well as the film industry. You may have seen some of his designs in the most recent Aquaman film. He did some of the early work for Black Manta, as well as some of the Atlantean soldier armor. Really cool stuff, but he also worked at Ubisoft for many years, working on games like Far Cry New Dawn. And when he's working for those companies, yes, he's bringing his artistic style under an art director or under a costume designer's purview, but he also has an incredibly distinct style, all of his own, that he's now brought to life in these collectibles, working with a new company called House of Gog. This is under his Derelict Planet series. And if you look at these figures, this is the Moonstone and this is Jack. They're based on these illustrations he did, you can find on his ArtStation from years back. And I love his style. They evoke the 70s and 80s era of heavy metal, of Giger, of Mobius, and of even Jack Kirby, even before then, essentially world builders who had a distinct style, and with just a few pieces of art with consistent color scheme or tone, you can imagine the worlds, in this case the Derelict Planet, that they exist on. I don't know the exact story of Moonstone or Jack the Giant Hunter, but seeing the costumes, seeing how it's weathered, seeing the big armaments, the bases that he's kind of illustrated them on, I can imagine that type of world would be appropriate in a place like Dune. And he's now finally able to turn these illustrations into really, really striking figurines. These have a number of different alternate versions I like as well, so you can swap out the heads, swap out the armor, but they represent two different takes on his style. You can have, for example, on Moonstone, something that's more mechanical or something that's more biological. As the helm on this, I lean toward the more mechanical side of things. And even the paint scheme, you know, I took a look at this and like, there's not as much exact paint detailing as you would find on, for example, like a Hot Toys figure or something from Sideshow Collectibles, but that's intentional. It's because it's supposed to emulate the original concept art, and they look like concept art pieces brought into the third dimension. I am so into these characters, this design. I hope he's able to produce more to come, and I encourage you to follow him on social media as well, because he's also a great supporter of other artists, and he tweets out and lots of inspiration and lots of concept artists of people who work in concept art departments who need to get more spotlights put on them, because there's so many incredibly talented people out there, and looking forward to future conventions where we can see those people's art also turned to physical objects. So check out Pascal Blanché's work on Twitter and ArtStation. All details are below. And if you're interested in the figures, they're from House of Gog. Thanks for watching.